All right, welcome to part 2 of allergies. Now, taking a look at your Google Doc here. Now, first of all, I am sorry because I realized after I shared this document with you last week that unfortunately I forgot to give you the option of writing in your answers here. So, what I'm going to do is I'll just have it where I will share this picture on Moodle. That way you can take a look at that to see just how an allergic response works. So what happens is you end up having it where with your B cells, you have these antibodies coming off of it, and you have this allergen that it comes into contact with. And then in your plasma cell, it produces way too many antibodies, and the IgE, that's short form. So they have way too many IgE antibodies that are created. And then what they do is these IgE antibodies, they attach themselves to a mast cell, so a type of leukocyte, white blood cell. And then what will happen is next time, so the second contact, so the next time it comes into contact with that same allergen, unfortunately what happens is it ends up that these mast cells end up releasing histamine. So it's a response to the allergen, but it's way too much, and that causes an allergic reaction. And so that's why you hear people who will say to take an antihistamine, especially this time of year when it comes to seasonal allergies, because then that can help calm down the production of histamines. So I'll have this posted on Moodle for you to take a look at. Now, going back to our Google document here, I'm going to write down some answers. So, and it's so sad to think that with allergies, which basically can get you really, really sick, it can even be life-threatening. It's so unfortunate that it is caused by your immune system, and your immune system is meant to have it where it just helps you, keeps you strong and healthy. But with allergies, it's like it's working against itself, unfortunately. Because what happens is it's pretty much a case of mistaken identity. That's what happens with allergic reactions. So our bodies treat non-disease causing organisms as if they were a threat. So think of like a virus. That's what happens, is that our bodies, they see these organisms that do not cause disease, even things like pollen or eggs or peanuts or dust or pet dander, whatever it might be, that these are things that don't cause disease, but our bodies see them as a threat. And it has an overproduction of antibodies, and it causes the allergic reaction. So everything has surface markers called antigens. And that was that little, we also have like a little red thing here that to show you that. And so this is how the body can tell the difference between a self cell and a foreigner. So lymphocytes produce antibodies. So think of the IgE, okay, to combat antigens. All right, so antibodies are produced to combat the antigens, and allergies are when lymphocytes make a mistake of food particle for a virus or bacterium. The IgE, the IgE attaches to specialized mast cells, which flood the system with chemicals, otherwise known as histamines, that cause the symptoms. All right, so think of the runny nose, the cough, swelling, rash, itchiness, vomiting, all of that would be symptoms of an allergic reaction. Now, we had the more serious version of an allergic reaction, which is discussed in this video here, and that is the anaphylactic shock, and that's caused by the production of tryptase. And the results are really serious. So with cardiovascular results, you might end up having it where you have a faster or slower heart rate. You can also have low blood pressure. And then for respiratory, you can have it where you're short of breath. This is actually, unfortunately, what my mom was experiencing. Remember how I said that her allergies, her seasonal allergies were getting really bad this year. And then you also add in the fact having to be at home. And she has mild allergies to a cat, which she still has a cat, but with having to be in the house all the time with that cat fur, it made it so that her allergies were flaring that much worse. And she was experiencing shortness of breath. And I don't think she had this one as much, but you can also have it where you have swelling of the tongue or throat. With your central nervous system, you can have it where you have lightheadedness. You might lose consciousness, so you might faint. You can have confusion, headache. You can also have anxiety. So if it's a severe anaphylactic shock, you can it could be potentially life-threatening. So that's why you'll see people who have severe allergies will carry an EpiPen. Like I remember having students who had severe allergies to wasp and bee stings. And so anytime they went outside for recess, they had to have their EpiPen on them at all times, just in case. And so it would be if there's any situation that you are more likely to be exposed to those life-threatening allergies, then you need to have your EpiPen with you. And so unfortunately, we also have it where allergies are on the rise. And again, it talks about this in the video. So 2 of the suspected reasons for this increase, we have more air pollution. So that means we have more carbon monoxide. So remember how it's not carbon dioxide, this is carbon monoxide. So think of like the fumes coming from a vehicle that's running. If you have it where you're in an enclosed room and that air that's coming from the car, the exhaust, if it doesn't have anywhere else to go and it just stays in that room with you, it can make you very sick and even kill you. And then we also have an increase in sulfur dioxide. So there's more air pollution. But an interesting thing is we also have microbial deprivation. So that pretty much just simply means that you're like going without. So the basis of that, so you have it where if you are not exposed to disease causing agents, your immune system, your immune system can attack anything because it doesn't know how to recognize a true threat because it hasn't been exposed to any. So that's why if you take a look at your slideshow that I have, that when it's talking about, oops, went too far, sorry. When it's talking about ways that you can avoid severe allergic reactions, well, one of them is get dirty. This is sometimes hard for me to say, you know that I'm a germaphobe. But with that being said, I get it. I get it how, let's say if you're at home and you have kids in the home, to have it where you just let them get dirty. And yes, be mindful. Like there might be some things that's like, no, you can't put that in your mouth or whatever it might be. I'm just thinking about a little toddler on the floor. But it is good for them to be able to get dirty and to be able to be exposed to a variety of things within reason. And having it where, again, within reason, you introduce children to things early on. So you introduce new foods, and that way you can see what their body responds to, how their body responds to it. Also, things like Benadryl, antihistamines, if you have a severe allergic reaction. But an interesting thing is honey, and I'm going to end off this one with talking about honey, and that what's fascinating about it is that it can be a natural way to help decrease allergies. And I'm not saying it's going to be a cure-all. I'm not saying it's going to cure everything. But I know, especially with seasonal allergies, things like allergies to pollen. And what happens is if you're having little bits of honey, unpasteurized honey, because I was talking to some friends of mine who are beekeepers, and they were saying that if you take a little bit of honey, like a teaspoon of honey each day during the winter months, then what happens is by the time spring comes around, you are less likely to be responding as severely to the different allergens that are in the air that comes with spring. Because with unpasteurized honey, it's completely safe for you. It has all the same benefits of pasteurized honey, but it actually has a few more benefits than the pasteurized honey because it has little bits of remnants of pollen still in it. And it's in safe quantities though. And so that means if you take a little bit, then it's a greater chance that your body is going to be able to receive that allergen and not treat it as a threat and start to build up a tolerance to it, such as, let's say, pollen, and having it where when you're exposed to greater quantities of that allergen down the line, let's say when spring comes and you have more pollen in the air, then your body isn't as likely to see it as a threat. So it is something that if you were to look into it, that there is some research around the benefits of honey. Honey, especially unpasteurized honey, has a lot of great health benefits, and being able to reduce allergic reactions, that is one of them. Pretty cool. Anyways, so make sure that with your document here that you finish this. This is for your notes. And then what I'm going to do is I'll have another Google form that you're going to fill in, and that is going to count as your homework check. And this is going to be due for Wednesday, I guess it'd be April 22nd. All right. I'm going to end this off here. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you later.